Okay, we're gonna have to try this again. I videoed about 5 minutes of my devotional and the camera just quit. So uh, let's try it again. I am plumb tuckered out this evening, doing a lot of gardening, planting potatoes, digging up dirt, cutting up firewood, doing some maintenance on the house. I've had a busy day, but let's get after the devotional tonight. We're starting in chapter 24 of First Samuel. We're still working on David's story. In chapter 17, David kills Goliath. You'd think he's on easy streets from here on in, but such is not the case. We get to chapter 18, and the people are writing songs about David and praising David for killing the Philistine, and Saul starts to get jealous. So what does the King Saul do? He goes out hunting, trying to kill David. So that's been going on here for the last few chapters. Let's see what chapter 24 has to give us. After Saul returned from fighting the Philistines, he was told that David had gone into the wilderness of En-gedi. So Saul chose 3,000 elite troops from all Israel and went to search for David and his men near the rocks of the wild goats. At the place where the road passes some sheepfolds, Saul went into a cave to relieve himself. But as it happened, David and his men were hiding further back in that very cave. "Now's your opportunity," David's men whispered to him. "Today the Lord is telling you, I will certainly put your enemy into your power, to do with as you wish." So David crept forward and cut off a piece of the hem of Saul's robe. But then David's conscience began bothering him, because he had cut Saul's robe. If your conscience is bothering you, there's a reason. He said to his men, "The Lord forbid that I should do this to my lord the king and attack the Lord's anointed one, for the Lord himself has chosen him." So David restrained his men and did not let them kill Saul. After Saul had left the cave and gone on his way, David came out and shouted after him, "My lord the king!" And when Saul looked around, David bowed low before him. Then he shouted to Saul, "Why do you listen to the people who say I am trying to harm you? This very day you can see with your own eyes it isn't true, for the Lord placed you at my mercy back there in the cave. Some of my men told me to kill you, but I spared you, for I said I will never harm the king. He is the Lord's anointed one." I can't imagine showing that kind of restraint from, from a man who's trying to kill me. But God had big plans for David. And along with big plans comes big testing. So if you're being tested and tested and tested, hang in there because you're being prepped for something great. Okay? Let's just move on here in chapter 24. I want to read this to you yet. When David had finished speaking, Saul called back, "Is that really you, my son, David?" Then he began to cry, and he said to David, "You are a better man than I am, for you have repaid me good for evil. Yes, you have been amazingly kind to me today, for when the Lord put me in the place where you could have killed me, you didn't do it. Who else would let his enemy get away when he had him in his power? May the Lord reward you well for the kindness you have shown to me today. And now I realize that you are surely going to be king, and that the kingdom of Israel will flourish under your rule. No, okay, no, okay. So there's the kicker. Repay kindness for evil. Very difficult thing to do, but you see the result from this reading. There is something to meditate on. Yeah, it's much easier to repay evil with evil, for repay evil for evil. But David passed the test. He is going to be king. You all have a great evening. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. And the word for this week is still machinations. Okay.